Hi, Trevor.
How you doing, Matt?
I'm good, thank you. Glad you're here. As one of the true pioneers of the Balearic beat, your open-minded approach to music has helped lay the foundations for a movement that has transformed global club culture. Though often described as one of the unsung heroes of the scene, your humble nature and early residencies in Ibiza and the role they played in inspiring the second summer of love had a lasting, undeniable impact. Now, in your fifth decade as a DJ, do you mind me saying that?
Coming up to the fifth.
You continue to bring that spirit of discovery to new generations across the world. It's a real honour to welcome you to the house.
Oh, thank you very much, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. We always start in the early kind of years. You know, you grew up in Hammersmith.
That's
Your
right.
parents from South America.
That's right.
Your dad was a DJ, right?
Well, my dad died, right? And then I heard these stories. I always wondered, my dad never talked to it. He's quite a humble and quiet guy. But I found out, mother told me, that he was DJing in South America, in Guyana.
Yeah, wow.
He had a good record collection as well. So I always sort of, that's how I probably got into the music.
Yeah.
It's soul, funk, reggae.
Yeah.
What more do you need? And all the sevens, no 12s, albums. So I sort of grew up on a mixture of Marvin Gaye, Stevie Wonder, the Jackson Vibes and all that sort of stuff with a bit of reggae.
A real exposure in that part of London in
all
that
the lovers
time.
rock, and it was, all my cousins lived in Shepherd's Bush, so it had a lot of good music shops, and that's in both places, South London and Shepherd's Bush. So I was listening to a lot of reggae, soul, funk in the early years. You know, I was brought up on it basically.
Indeed. And so when you were obviously buying music as well, inspired by that, adding to that collection?
Yeah, well, what happened was I loved music so much. I used to go to school, play Penny Up the Wall. Whatever I'd left, the record shop on the way home, because they were cheap, weren't they, in them days? Well, but it's relevant because what the inflation and stuff, what they are now. But I'm sure I used to pick them up for about 25p, 50p or stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there's a record shop on the way home, so I used to buy singles. And I amassed a massive collection of singles.
Yeah.
I've got about 4,000 7-inch singles. Just sevens.
Still?
Oh yeah, I've still got it. I've sold a few now, but in COVID, I've never sold a record in my life, but in COVID, I obviously started selling them to get some money in because no one was working. So and that's how I got onto Discord, started selling them.
It's a dangerous place.
It's mad, isn't it? My first single I ever sold, I put it on eBay. It was I remember buying a 7-inch from Record Corner, Corey Blake, and I sold it for about £1,800 on eBay.
What? Oh my God! Wow!
I know, and I didn't even have any packaging. And the guy lived about 20 minutes from me, so I delivered it to him by hand.
Amazing.
But yeah, I sort of, that's why I grew up. I grew up on music, and all my uncles and that they were all into music as well. So I sort of early started music basically.
Yeah. No, so obviously you've amassed that huge collection. What at a young age as well. What was the thinking behind it? You just had a passion for music. Where did the tipping point come between you becoming inspired to be a DJ and share this music?
It was, I was no idea about DJ. Didn't really want to, but I've just had all this music, and I was thinking I've got to do something with this. And I went in and bought one of these Citronic. Do you remember those? Citronic, you get speakers and everything with it. And it was about £1,000, and my friend was coming in with me. And then when I bought it, before the first payment, he pulled out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, right, I've got this thing now. Now I've got all this music. Now I've got this music system. I'm going to have to make some money with it, And I was doing local parties all around the area and stuff on this little system. I knew a few local boys, a guy called Ray Locke and another guy called Carl Cox. And we used to do parties in the area.
Yeah.
So I've known Carl for a long time. Our birthdays on the same day. Both of us born on the 29th of July.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I started. And the first ever gig, proper real gig, I was walking past a bar in Covent Garden called Rumours.
Mm-hmm.
I walked in there and asked them if they needed a DJ.
Yeah.
They asked me if I was over 18. I said, yes, I'm 16 years old. Gave me a trial run, and I was there for 5 years.
Yeah. And what was that? So in terms of you delivering music to a crowd, was that a real kind of education for you?
It was, yeah, but it's different because it was a bar crowd.
Yep.
But the sort of people we had down there, we had all the like Duran Duran, Ultravox. It was a real trendy bar in Covent Garden called Rumours, and and I was playing all sort of soul, funk, and jazz. That's what I grew up on, basically.
Yeah.
That was my daily diet of music: soul, funk, and jazz, and old soul and stuff like that.
So, what kind of era was that then? What year are we talking?
This was, God Almighty, we're talking before the 80s.
Wow!
And then it run into the 80s.
Yeah.
They opened up a club, and I used to work there. Friday, Saturday. Sometimes on a Thursday, sometimes on a Sunday. But then when they opened up the club, there was a lot more jobs going. So I used to book in my friends into the club.
Yeah.
And I used to do the bar upstairs mainly. And sometimes do the club, but mainly in the bar because I used to love it in there.
Yeah.
And that's how I, obviously you're meeting a lot of people. You're meeting promoters because it was such a good bar. And that's what it is. It's, being a DJ, it's all about connections.
Oh,
people,
definitely. Yeah.
Who owns this and who owns that. And you've got to remember, we didn't have mobile phones in them days.
No.
You had to literally go out.
Yeah.
And, push yourself around.
Yeah. And it's all 2 degrees of separation as well. If you don't know that person, they'll know someone that you know.
Yeah. And that's how I done it. It's just being in the right place in the right times. I was quite lucky like that. So,
you got to be, I always think right place, right time. But you've put yourself in that place.
Yes.
And to make that happen.
Yeah.
So,
my dad always said, you got to put yourself in these places.
Yeah.
And try, because
someone else is going to.
Yeah. And it like you said, being lucky is actually, you're not being lucky. You're putting yourself in that place to be lucky.
Yeah. Absolutely. So look, I mean, you've got a long, storied history with the island of Ibiza. I do want to touch on that. As I said at the top of the interview, you're often cited as one of the unsung heroes of the Balearic scene and the Balearic beat, which is, do I have it right that even that as a term is something that
I come up with? Yeah. When that term came about when I got back from summer of '87. And Pete Tong asked me to compile the Balearic beats.
Yep.
It was going to be called the Balearic Dance. And I went, no, that does not sound right.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound right. So I gave him my 14 odd tracks and we termed it Balearic Beats.
Yeah. And it's I've got it in a bag over there for you to sign later. So we'll come on to that. But rewinding in terms of Ibiza and that first discovery for you.
Yeah.
Tell us about how
I came about being there. It's a funny story actually. So when I left school, I was going back to do my A levels, and I got a job in my friend's dad's travel agent, working there in the summer to go back to school, and then I got a free trip to go to Nice, like a first class and 5-star hotel, and I just loved it. It was like I've been skiing and a couple of little trips abroad.
Yeah.
And I loved this travelling business, and I thought, travel. Yeah, I really like that. And then before I was just about to go back to school, I got a Club 1830 free holiday to Ibiza.
Wow. So what year was that then?
You can't make it up, can you? You can't make it up. I was just turned 16 then.
Yeah.
I was 16 in July because my birthday is never in the school holidays. It's always during the school.
Yeah.
No, never when in school.
Yeah.
During the school holidays. So it was in September. I went to Ibiza, and oh my God, just fell in love with the place.
So what year was that then?
This was in 1976.
Wow. What was the island like then?
76,
yeah.
Honestly, it was 77.
Okay.
It was completely nothing like it is now. Obviously not built up how it is now. And there was hardly any English tourists.
Yeah.
There was, out of all the tourists, I would say probably 20% English.
Yeah.
It was mainly Americans, Canadians, Scandies, a lot of Dutch,
Yeah.
you know, just a lot of Europeans.
Yeah.
But a lot of American and Canadians.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, really interesting. And also the island was not like it is now. It's like in the winters, you still got daily flights there.
Yeah.
In the season, there was the flights finished.
Yeah.
That you had to get the boat back to mainland Spain.
Wow.
So it was not like how it is now. So you could see how much it's grown.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so I got on this flight. I met a girl called Sandy who showed me around the island, a rep, and I got out there as often as I could.
Yeah.
So I went out a couple more times after that. And then every year I'd go out 5-6 times.
Yeah.
Maybe for a week, sometimes for a long weekend, sometimes during, you know, whenever I could.
And this was holidaying or because you were DJing at this point as well?
Yeah, this was, well, what I found that there was a gap in the market.
Yeah.
Over there, you go over there, and I was looking in the record shops and everything was old. Like very old.
Yeah.
So, right, you need music. You really need music. And so I got into dealing a bit of music with the shops and stuff. And then
the music dealer.
Well, yeah, a record dealer. I just love it. But then what happened was, as it moved on, I was getting all promos from all the companies. I mean, mainly, you know, places EMI, FFRR, all of them. They were loading me up with promos.
Yeah.
And I was then taking them out to give to the clubs, sort out to the clubs and stuff. And then whatever I'd left, I'd then give to the record shop.
Wow. So what were the... Go on, sorry.
Because the clubs bought the records in them days, in Ibiza. It wasn't the DJs.
Yeah. What?
Yeah. It wasn't the DJs weren't a big thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't a big thing, you know, the DJs. It never was a big thing. It was the clubs that bought music. The DJ might pick them.
Yeah.
The DJ might pick records,
I
but
suppose the collection would be there then.
Be there. So it's about, And, you know, what I sort of found as well, I found the culture of the different types of music, bearing in mind how the Balearic thing came about.
Yeah.
It's all about different music, a vibe, you know. And I started up the Funhouse to sort of replicate this. But I started that in about 1983.
Yeah.
And it sort of, we had parties, it done okay, but it didn't sort of blow up.
Yeah.
You know, all our other nights done better, the things that I've done at the project and stuff like that. Ziggy's and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did try to do this Balearic thing, and then it sort of exploded in 87.
Yeah.
So I was always trying to do it beforehand.
Ahead of the curve there.
Yeah.
And so in terms of going back to the clubs owning the records or the clubs that existed on the island in those kind of early 80s days, what were the clubs and what were kind of the DJs you were dealing with?
Yeah, the main sort of clubs at that time really was S Paradise, Coup.
Yep.
Amnesia wasn't really doing anything at the time. Pasha.
Yeah.
Glories.
Yeah.
A place called Manhattan's.
Yeah.
That was at the back of San Antonio. And Star Club.
Okay.
Which is, it's called something else now. It's Eden's.
Eden, I think. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember I was playing in there a few times. I played in there a few times actually.
Yeah. And so you were hooking yourself in with these
I'm hooking
people
up.
That owned the clubs, selling them the records.
Yeah.
Were you getting gigs off the back of it as well?
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, when it was when I got my residency in Amnesia in 1983. I went over there to work, and I was literally there about 2-3 weeks, and I had to stop because there was no one in there. They didn't do no promotion. They didn't, you know, I was hoping for this big busy club, and they didn't do no promotion. You imagine walking into that place and had no roof on it and everything at the time.
Yeah. And
there was just no one in there. No one. They didn't do any promotion. So obviously I had to quit, but I stayed on the island, and then I went into delving into the music a lot more, the records, and then doing tapes and then DJing at certain different places.
Yeah.
But what I was really producing like tapes for bars at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the self-promotion.
Yeah. Well, no, making the music for them.
Yeah.
So I weren't doing no self-promotion. He was just making music for them.
Yeah.
Because they didn't really have decks and stuff like that in the bars in those days, you know.
Yeah.
Then I went out in 84, then I went out in 87 again.
Yeah.
In 87 I had a bar this time.
Mm-hmm.
And we called it the Project Bar.
So Project Bar.
Yeah. And that was because we was running the Project Bar in London as well.
Yeah.
But the place that I got the Project Bar, it was all actually called the Project Bar.
Yeah.
So I took that name and I used it in London, and
Yes.
then I called that.
Yeah.
So it was a name from Ibiza.
Yeah. So the project was Ziggy's, is that right? I have that right? Yeah, in the UK. So in Ibiza, this is the era where you invited 4 guys over there, is that right?
Yes. It was summer of 87. Paul had already been out early in the summer. He didn't really like Ibiza. He didn't really like it. He just wanted to get home. So he went home. And then it all hell broke loose. Ecstasy came into the game. And I said to the guys, "You got to come over." Paul came over with Johnny Walker. He was always a great help to me for records and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He had some great stuff FFR at the time. He was working for FFR. Danny and Nicky Holloway.
Yeah.
They saw, we took them to Amnesia, gave them a bit of a pill, and that was the rest is history, basically.
Yeah, of course, and it is.
Basically, yeah. History.
Unbelievable. And so when you're in Amnesia and you're on the dance floor in that type of era and Alfredo's playing, what are you hearing? What specific tracks
we are
and sounds
hearing
and music?
things like Jungle Fever. On Champion. Chiracas. Simple Minds. U2. Bam Bam. Things like it's just a mixture, a bit of acid house, a bit of house, and pop. But the blend was just magical. And I was trying to do that in London before, but they weren't buying it. They just wasn't buying it. You know, it was all one genre. You had to stick to one genre. And at the time I was competing with sort of soul, funk, rare groove and that, and nobody wanted to listen to pop. So it wasn't pop, it was like on American 12s you used to have, say, Madonna. You'd have dubs of Madonna. That's what they used to play, like Jelly Bean. And that, you know, it wasn't sort of happening in England. But it was happening in Ibiza, and the way it was played and put together, it sort of blew my mind. And that was my idea about this Balearic idea that I had in my mind. And I wanted to bring to England, and it never really took off. But the acid house scene took off instead. So you can't win one battle, you try the other one.
You do the other one,
But I was taking tracks like, you know, Frankie Knuckles, Your Love and stuff, over to, I was taking them imports. So they wouldn't get imports for years. So they were getting them at the beginning of the season. You know, and it's great to see that track become a hit and stuff out of all these piles of music I was taking out. And it was, I mean, you probably know the classic Alfredo's tracks, you know, G-Baro. And that's what I tried to copy on the Balearic Beat album. But they put the Electra version on. You had to weigh it up. I suppose they have to put some of their own artists on there.
Of course.
Which obviously Paul done.
Totally. So I mean, I always, in my mind, or I always thought, and maybe I read it somewhere, and I'm kind of like taking it as my own, but that there was such a scarcity of music, like you said, over there. And then when you're introducing these newer sounds, you've still got to mix it all up with everything that has come before.
Totally.
And that kind of gives you that sense of, oh, I've had to dig on a B-side because there's this Phil Collins thing that is like, it's a bit dubby or whatever.
Because I think Your Love was a B-side. It was a B-side on tracks, wasn't it? It was a B-side. So, but he had that unique sound that anyone wasn't playing. Everybody else wasn't playing. And it drew a lot of English people there.
Yeah.
Well, it drew a lot of people there, all sorts of people there, really, a lot of Europeans, and but it was just magical on that year. It was just a magical year.
Yeah.
I think ecstasy had a lot to do with it.
Of course, yeah, absolutely, and drove that explosion back in the UK as well.
Yeah.
It was like you had the music, you just
Yeah.
didn't have the drugs when
Exactly.
you're doing it in the early
Exactly.
80s.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, London was quite rough at the time. Pre-80s, early 80s, it was rough.
Yeah, true.
It was quite rough.
Yeah.
It was all breaking out, fights were breaking out, and there was always trouble. And Ibiza was that welcome break away from all that.
Yeah.
And I was always trying to do something over in England with that sound, and it never really kicked off.
Yeah. So were you surprised then that suddenly it had all gone crazy when you were back in the UK, or pleased?
No, I knew that after that year,
Yeah.
when I was out there, I knew it was going to all kick off.
Yeah.
Because the mainstream of workers were British, English,
Yeah.
British, Scottish, Welsh, and there was quite a few of them. There was probably a good 150 of them. So when I remember when my cousin started Spectrum,
Yeah.
he just got those core people to come down to Spectrum on a Monday night, and it literally blew up overnight.
Yeah.
You had 200, 600, 1,500 on a Monday. On a Monday night.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so
Insane.
mad, that scene. I mean, you were working every single night.
Wow.
Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. It was like no break. People were going out every single night.
Yeah.
It was quite full on.
Yeah, massively. Yeah.
But I was young and raring to go. But I was up and down the country, over here, over there.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Yeah, it was a crazy time.
Crazy times. I mean, and even during that time, you managed to this is it's in 1990, but under Playtime Tunes, you did Shake a Song, and so
That's
you were
right.
making your own music as well. How did that kind of change?
Yeah. I thought
between starting DJing and starting.
I thought it's time now because I've got quite a good brain for music and stuff. I mean, all DJs have usually, but on that EP, it's quite a mixture of different things, different tracks.
Yep.
And there was a couple of indie type tracks on there, and I just wanted to make a 4-tracker which blended all those styles in that I liked.
Yeah.
I had a guy called John Smart that he'd done a lot of my early work with. He programmed it all, and I remember we had one more track to do, and I was watching the Liverpool Crystal Palace game, semi-final, when they lost 4-3.
Yeah,
and we made it, and the second half, this track, Shake a Song, we just thought, right, quickly, let's do this. And he was going, what do you want to do? I was going, no, pretend it's a guy just walking on the beach, big spliff, and we had this lazy bass line, put a little break beat on the back of it, and it was done.
Nice.
45 minutes we done it in. And I'm like, I'm watching the football, just get it done. I sold thousands of them.
Yeah, I mean, I did check on Discogs this morning, actually. I think like the cheapest one on there is like 25, 30 quid
really?
still. Yeah. It's
cool.
still like,
Yeah, I mean, I've had a few copies, so it's probably all mine selling. But I had a few original ones. I found some white labels in my collection because I've been going through all the collection and trying to find things and stuff, and I whittled it all down.
Yeah.
But and I've done quite a few tracks after that. I mean, I had a recording studio in London down Grange Road by Tower Bridge.
Yeah.
And I ran a label out of the studio. So it was a commercial studio in the day, and in the evening we do the label stuff.
Yeah.
One of my first artists was this guy that I met at Stearns. He came up to me with a tape, played me a track. I said, I like that. Get in the studio soon, get you in there. Got him in there. His name's Peter Lazenby.
Oh,
come up with this track called Charm.
Yeah.
And I'd done a couple of remixes on both his tracks and put it out. And it was called Lingo Records.
Yeah.
And he got signed, Brainiac, Germany, and stuff like that. He done really well. But there were some really good tracks, and they're really different, and they're really hard to get hold of as well now.
Yeah.
And they're selling for stupid money, like really stupid money, 150, 200 quids and stuff. But I think they're all going to be released soon. I'm
Okay.
going to release everything that I've got.
Yeah. You still got all the stems and everything?
No, not all the stems. I've still got the digital files.
Yeah, yeah.
On that.
Oh, amazing.
So I've got quite a bit of stuff, and I'm going to release it all.
Yeah, that's
all
fantastic.
Coming out, hopefully.
Great. I mean, so, obviously you've been in the game so long.
Yeah.
And, I've spoken to a lot of people that have had a long career, and sometimes they've lost stuff or things have gone away from them or whatever. Do you seem like a guy, if you haven't really sold many, or
no, I've managed to keep all my
kept
stuff.
it all together?
Kept it all together. But apart from all the stems, I actually have got things like the parts.
Yeah.
But they're all on discs, floppies.
Oh, wow. Okay.
What do you do with them? You know what I mean? It's because it was all made on floppy disk in them days.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, the people with the technology now, they can strip them, pull them apart and stuff.
I think it's fantastic that you'd want to bring that stuff back out to the world. It's really, really meaningful.
I'm gonna put it out. I don't think I'm gonna remix it and all that sort of stuff. I'm just gonna put it out as in its original form.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of these tracks are 35 years old.
Yeah, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And there's been a real kind of vinyl revival. Well, I say vinyl revival. It's been going for a long time now already.
Definitely, yeah.
Would the vision be to be putting these out on vinyl again?
Definitely, yeah. It will be. It's going to be digital as well, but I'm going to be putting them out on vinyl.
Yeah.
I'm speaking to someone at the moment about releasing them all.
Okay.
I've got quite a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But a lot of people wouldn't know me as a recording artist, really, more as a DJ than a recording artist. But when I put all the stuff out, you realise I've done quite a lot of stuff.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And we'll watch this space on that definitely for the future.
Definitely,
I'm excited to hear more. And so where do you sit? Obviously you've seen all the changes in technology between vinyl and digital.
Yeah.
Obviously there's pros and cons with both.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the differences as you've gone through your career?
I've never been one of these guys to knock this or knock that.
Yep.
To me, if you could just do a perfect set on whatever you use, for me, you do what you want to do. For me, I love vinyl. Yeah. I love playing vinyl.
Yeah.
But as you get to my age, you don't want to be carrying vinyl around. When you're carrying it on a USB stick, it's so much more easier.
Yeah.
But what you can do with digital is life-changing. You can't do that on the vinyl.
Yeah.
So, you adapt.
Yeah.
And I love that adaptation, and I love what you can do on digital and what, where you could take it.
Yeah.
So, all my a lot of my collection, I've been recording them. So I can
They've
play
come from
around
vinyl.
with the record. I can change that record. I like to change the record while I'm playing.
Yeah.
So those sort of things, it's amazing. It's amazing. So no, I've got no qualms whatever you use, as long as you can work on both.
Yeah, of course.
Work one or the other.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm lucky that I can do both.
Well, and I think having come into it, as someone from vinyl first, is always
definitely
so
you've got
much
that
easier.
head.
You can't go the other way.
No,
I don't think.
Sometimes I do like to work as if it's just a vinyl, not on digital. Do you know what I mean? Working in that vinyl mode.
Yeah.
But I also like all the things that you can do digital, which you can't do. You can go any place in the record, pick it up, start, end. You don't have to. You can remix that record on the fly.
Yeah,
and that's what I like to do.
That's really good, and I like using that technology to give yourself to maximise the capabilities of it. I saw an interview with Fabio and Groove Rider recently, and I think it was Groove who was saying that back on vinyl, it was graft to do a 2-hour set or an hour and a half or whatever set. You were working the whole time.
Yeah, definitely.
With digital, it can be a bit more. It can facilitate it for you. But if you're absolutely squeezing the maximising out of it,
I find I ain't got no time with digital basically. Because you're always trying to work it all the time and then trying to do new things and come up with new things and try new things.
Absolutely.
The best way to try it is live on that floor. I'm not I'm one of those. You've got to try these things. You've got to try. Otherwise, what's the point?
Well, that's what makes it exciting, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. It makes it exciting, and I think that um, music that's coming out on digital is a bit lazy.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of it,
Yep.
a lot of it. A
Yep.
lot. There's not. I would say at least 80% of it,
Yeah.
where they're just playing the same song in 3 blocks, put in a little whatever they call it, break in between.
Yep.
You know,
The
tech
drop.
house, that sort
Yeah,
of stuff.
yeah, yeah.
And basically, no, that's wrong.
Yeah.
You wouldn't get that on a vinyl record because nobody would buy it.
Yeah.
You know. But what I'd like to do is join them all together, make it into a one track.
Yeah.
And make it my own way.
Yeah.
Make it my own style, and you know you can do that. It's not hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you,
totally.
You just go from block to block.
Yeah.
I just don't like those sort of EDM breaks, I call them.
Yeah, I know, and it's that
American techno.
Yeah, it becomes like a formula, doesn't it? And I think there is
a formula, and
an element of the dance floor, almost that expectation of like, oh, I know this is going to happen, and it's going to do this, and it's going to do that. And it's like if you have 3 of those in a row, to me, it's really boring.
So that's where I would change and manipulate.
Yeah,
put something over it, or you know, just pull something out. Different, all that sort of stuff. But that wouldn't sell as a record.
No,
you might sell it digitally.
Yeah,
but it wouldn't sell on a vinyl. I wouldn't buy it.
Yeah,
I don't think a lot of people buy it.
Yeah.
So you make it into your own record.
Yeah.
No.
Well, make it your own. And, you know, we're talking about exciting stuff as well. You know, just kind of going a bit back in your career and like changing it all up. You know, for me, I entered this scene through the rave scene. And, you know, as soon as I started to get to know what was going on and where it was going, I loved looking back and digging and whatever. And your name would always come up on tapes from things like those Orbital London raves, you know, Genesis Sunrise, those types of things. Tell us about that kind of, and what type of music you were maybe playing there, because I'd imagine that's not very Balearic.
No, it was full on. It was in the early days, the M25 raves they used to call them, then the Orbital raves.
Yeah.
It was, what can I say? It was Korea.
Baby, Let Me Love You.
Yeah, turntable orchestra.
Yeah.
That sort of stuff. It was exciting because it was literally intro music.
Yeah.
Where you just played the first beat and it was all, everybody would go mad. And it was a lot of vocals, and it was mainly house. I think the hardest type of tracks you'd play in them days, in those rows, was things like Energy Flash and, you know, the morning after, which is not really hard, you know, but that sort of edge. But yeah, I always liked the sort of the darker edge, the heavier edge on stuff. So I'd always try to dig and find different things.
Yeah.
Always I was always looking out for different music, because a lot of people played the same music.
Yeah.
Which I found that really annoying.
Yeah.
You know, I'm one of those. I like to go in and create a journey of a night.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I used to do Rage with Colin Favor, there's only us two, and one would start early one week and the other one would do it the other week. So one end late and the other one end late the other week.
Oh, okay.
But the warm up was so critical.
Yes, yeah.
It's, you know, you don't play all the big tracks, and you get what I used to do is play all the next big tracks that are coming up.
Yeah.
So people will start hearing it. You know what it's like. You have to get people to hear these things first. And I'll test them all out, which was great. And then Colin would come on and do his stuff, and then vice versa the following week. Swap it around. And it was really great, because Colin Favor was one of my heroes.
Yeah.
Colin Favor and Eddie Richards.
Yeah.
I used to go and see them play all the time. And then next minute I was working with Colin. I worked with him for 5 years.
It's incredible. Yeah.
And we was going all over the country playing. And Rage was another one of my residencies. I've always had long residencies.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And they're meaningful as well. Residencies about building that community.
Of course it is. Yeah. I think that these days there's not a lot of people who do residencies, but to understand music a lot more, how to build sets and how to, you know, you're getting these DJs that are just coming in for an hour and they're smashing it basically, because you know, it's a bit unfair for them because they want to make an impression.
Yeah.
But you can't make an impression at 7 o'clock in the evening when people are just walking into a club.
In and getting
you want
assaulted.
to hear it,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So this is what these DJs don't. These new young DJs, they just don't know about these sort of things.
Yeah.
You want a journey of a night. Start like that and take it like.
Yeah. And the more you do it, the more you play in a space where you've got a residency and there's a regular crowd, there's more trust in what you're doing for them when they're on the dance floor. Oh, well, you may be playing something that I've not heard before, but I trust your taste.
Yeah.
And I'm going to groove to it.
And also, you know, when you're in a residency, you're breaking a lot of music. You are breaking a lot of music. I mean, whenever we was at Rage, God, the amount of companies we used to get come and see us. We was getting companies from all over the world, from Germany, Italy, America, and they'd come and listen to you, what you was doing, you know, give you music and stuff. And we was breaking music all the time, and that's what I love doing. I like doing that. Yeah. Yeah. It was exciting times in them days.
I mean, and like even mentioning Rage, that is another kind of iconic,
right, definitely.
Club venue night and everything, you know, and it's all, you know what you were doing with Colin as well, and what Fabio and Groove Rider were doing in there as well, and inventing jungle into drum and bass.
Exactly. So that place is an icon of a place. That night.
Yeah.
I was also on a Friday. I was doing a club called Enter the Dragon, which was my other residency.
Yeah.
Which was I'd done that with me and Colin Favour.
Yeah.
And it was for a guy called Graham Bull.
Yeah.
And he used to do all the Westworlds and that.
Okay.
You remember those?
Yeah.
Brixton Academy and Fulham Bars and stuff. So we had a lot of gigs with Joel and Graham. And that was a good club. It was more of a West London type crew.
Yeah.
But we used to have people like Mick Jones and the Clash.
Yeah.
Big Audio Dynamite Boys. It used to be a really good club.
Incredible.
Really top club. Friday night at the park was just amazing. And not a lot of people know about that one.
No, tell us about it.
You have to be there to see it, you know. It was one of those. I mean, Gary Crowley was a regular. Roland Rivron. He was a regular, and it was. I don't know if you've ever been to Café Paris on a Wednesday, but it was like that on Friday at Enter the Dragon.
Yeah.
It was very fashiony, very modelly, very that sort of crew. Music.
Yeah.
A lot of music heads.
Yeah.
And it just used to go off every Friday.
Yeah.
You used to get like people putting their head and mouth in smoke machines. Smoke used to go down. Oh God, it was hedonism basically.
Yeah.
It was great. And we used to be on the stage, but we used to have a screen in front of us. Yeah, we used to have a big screen in front of us. So you couldn't see the DJs.
Yeah. Oh, no way.
You couldn't see the DJs, no.
Yeah.
And I remember Mr. C coming up one night, and he was a young Mr. C, before Shaman.
Yeah.
And he was rapping, and I just did not like. So he's standing out the front of behind the curtain. We're behind the curtain. He's standing out the front. I've just turned the mic completely down because I couldn't listen to what I was doing, mixing my heads, and he's out there doing all that. So funny. And I told him a couple of years ago. He goes, "You bastard!" I didn't even know that. But
it's hilarious. We have spoken to him on the podcast as well, and he tells a story around, he would just be badgering DJs. Let me rap over this.
That's what I'm saying.
Called house rap. Yeah, and they're like, "Wait, what?"
Like, no way.
Yeah,
none of this. I'm one. I don't like MCs unless they're really good ones, but. It's very far and few between, you know. If someone's rapping over my music, I'm like, "Excuse me, mate, can you just stop that, please?"
Yeah.
You know. But they got better.
Yeah.
You know, but I told Mr. C that he pissed himself. Because he always used to badger. But he's such a nice guy. I love him.
He was great on the interview as well. Yeah,
him,
really nice, really kind.
It's how we all move on in the world. It's really funny.
Yeah.
But I'm in contact with a lot of these guys, and I see them a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I do a festival called the Orchard Festival with Richard and Collindale.
Yep.
Me, Richard, Collindale, Derek Patterson.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for about 4 years now.
Yeah.
And it's fabulous. Fabulous.
And do you think that the scene is in good health with things that are going on in terms of the crowds that are going to a festival like that?
I think it is in good health, really.
Yeah.
I mean, they say it's a decline, but it's a decline maybe in clubs, but it's got bigger on events like festivals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I know sometimes some people don't want to do that, but I think for younger, more DJs that want to create things, it's harder. But for me and people like Mr. C, probably we like that.
Yeah.
We don't mind.
Yeah.
It's enjoying it, hanging out, people. Family, I suppose. Family clubbing, isn't it? Really?
Absolutely, yeah.
But we do. I like it. I like doing festivals.
Yeah.
I do like doing festivals.
Yeah. Does it harken back to those days of the
It
outdoor?
does. It reminds me of raves.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
They've got to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember doing Glastonbury for the first time.
Mm-hmm. When was that?
And that was in, I think it was 96.
Okay.
The first time they dancing.
Yeah.
And I had to go and do another gig, so I got down to the reception area, and they said park the car over in that car park, which was miles away. I said no, I can't. I've got to go leave here. I've got to get back to Brixton and play.
Yeah.
So anyway, they gave me a little sticker, and they had one of their vans call me up, and I had to follow the van all through the crowds, took the car,
Yeah.
and on the sticker it had Dancing Men, because they didn't really used to have a lot of dance acts.
Yeah.
And me and Nicky Holloway's playing, and we had MC Kinky.
Okay. Yeah.
Doing a PA.
Mm-hmm.
Everything starts with an E.
Yeah.
And it's really funny. So I'm driving my car all the way through the crowd, right to the back of the tent. I mean, you can't do that now.
No.
It's impossible. But it's all those sort of things, what you could do in them days. And you compare it to now.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's like, it feels,
it's
the
like
Premier League now.
It's
the
completely
Champions
different
League.
now.
It's crazy,
it's completely different now.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's nice to feel a part of this as what it's grown into.
Yeah.
It really is nice.
Yeah.
To feel this has all happened because, we helped make this happen. And I think the future's quite bright for.
That's really good to hear.
For
And like
the kids,
I think so.
I think so, and for the future DJs, I think so.
Yeah,
definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah, there seems to be, things that I've been to recently. There is a really nice broad selection of youngers and kids that are kind of second generation ravers now.
Exactly.
I'll tell you a story. I've just got back from Ibiza and we're at an event, and there's a 19-year-old lad there who's like telling us the story about his mum giving him his first pill. I don't know how good that parenting is.
Well,
but it was like, okay, this is stuff. This is kind of happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Well,
she was at the same party as well in the corner.
Really?
Yeah, getting her head off.
I mean, I did worry. I mean, I remember a long time ago, I was worrying. I was thinking, God, all these people out raving, they're going to have kids. I wonder what's going to happen there. I wonder what's going to happen there.
Yeah.
But it's evolved really nicely.
It has. Yeah.
I mean, people moan about these clubs are shutting down, but there's different things coming up. There's different opportunities.
Yeah.
I must admit, I played in London last week, and I think I haven't really enjoyed going and playing in London recently.
Yeah.
All my gigs are all over the UK.
Yeah.
But I prefer everywhere but London at the moment, which is mad. And it's my hometown, and I used to love it.
And is that just the reaction you're getting, or when
it's probably just the reaction I'm getting? There's probably some really good clubs. I mean, I used to do quite a lot in London, but I haven't done so much lately. But I try not to at the moment because it's all samey. Yeah. So that's why I love travelling around.
Yeah. Well, it's what you've always done as well.
Yeah, I've always done. It was always to spread the word. Basically, looking back in those years, I was just spreading it. Far East, America, Europe, and stuff. And
at what point in your career did those international gigs start happening? And
very soon. It was
how we've talked about this. You mentioned like it's pre-mobile phones, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
How are people getting in touch with you? Was it all?
I used to have an agent, and it was a company called JSC. Alex Peterson worked down there. I tell you, he used to do bookings for me. Seb Fontaine.
Oh, no way.
He was a young kid. He used to do bookings for me.
Wow.
But it was people like me, Frankie Bones, Lenny D, Mr. C, Eddie Richards, that sort of mob,
Yeah.
Dave Durrell, CJ McIntosh. We was all on the agency. It was only a small amount of DJs,
Yeah.
and a couple of American DJs, and it all done by fax. So you'd go out, work, come back, and you'd have faxes, and then you'd give them a call.
Yeah.
So you want to go to Italy? Do you want to go to America? Do you want to go here? And you were going everywhere.
Yeah.
But spreading the word, it was weird going to America.
Yeah.
When you're buying all this American music and you're going to America to play.
Yeah.
I'd done one of their first big raves in LA with Guru Josh and who was the other act? Guru Josh. Who was the other act? I've forgotten who the other act is. Big. But yeah, we went out there and we done this big rave with a big fairground and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was exciting.
Yeah, I'll bet.
I'm doing America's first big rave in LA.
Yeah.
It was amazing. But I used to play a lot of techno, and then I used to go all over Europe playing techno.
Yeah,
I remember doing the Love Parade, the
Yeah.
first ever one I've done. There's only about 500-600 people there, and then I've done another one.
Yeah.
And there was about 2 million people there. Yeah. So I used to go to Berlin a lot and play.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's like the centre of that sound now, isn't it?
In the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
Trésor played that, which amazing club. I used to love techno, you see.
Yeah.
I used to be a real techno head. And we tried to play techno. When late rage, I was trying to play the techno. They wouldn't have it.
Oh, really?
They would not have it. And I was trying to do it everywhere I go. They just wouldn't have it.
Yeah. Would it be like people complaining at you per se, come
No,
on,
they
Trev,
weren't
or just
complaining.
leaving the dance floor?
Well, yeah, I had a few promoters. I had one Jay from AWOL. He said, Trev, that 4/4 music you're playing, it's just not going down. I was going, look, I'm going to keep trying it, mate. And anyway, he said, Trev, listen, let's leave it. Anyway, about a month later, he rings me up and he said, Trev, that music you was playing, could you want to come back and start playing it again? But no, it never really took off like how it did in Europe.
Yes, yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I remember going to Berlin and I worked for a girl called Mariska, who was Westbam's girlfriend.
Okay.
And they have this party called Planet. It's on the boat.
Oh, did she do a track? Yeah.
She's done a track,
She
Mariska on Westbam.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
God, what's that called? I've got it somewhere.
Yes,
It Takes Me Away.
Something like that,
Yeah.
And she used to put these parties on. And I didn't know who was playing. Turned up. I'm playing. But there was Kevin Saunderson. All the Detroit boys, all of them.
So Juan
Not
Atkins,
one
Derek
of them.
May,
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah.
All of them. Not one of them. I was just me, English guy there.
Yeah.
And I'm standing there, and I'm thinking, how does this happen? And Kevin Saunders come up to me. He's, who are you? What's your name? And that. And
Yeah.
I tell him so, and then I know Kevin quite well.
Yeah.
So, but it was really odd, There was Reese, San Antonio, Blake Baxter.
Yeah.
God, they was all out there. And I'm playing on this. Oh, it was brilliant! Such a fantastic gig.
Yeah.
And I remember doing that. Got picked up 4 or 5 in the morning. Got driven to East Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Played in this club underneath this restaurant with DJ Hell.
Yeah.
Playing mad techno. And then I had to get back from West Germany because the wall was still there at the time, and get back to West Germany to my hotel to get my flight home. Got back to the hotel. All my gear was outside the room. They kicked me out the room because I got there late.
Oh.
It was okay. I just picked up the bag and went straight to the airport. Knackered. But yeah, I mean, that was so good. And Now you can see why all the DJs go to Berlin, because the American DJs, because they want to be in Europe.
Yeah,
People aren't going to pay for DJs coming all the way from America, so they base themselves in Europe.
Yeah.
And it was exciting times. It really was. But techno really did not kick off in England at all.
No. So I mean,
it's still small pockets of people playing it. But no, it didn't.
And in terms of what you play now, what would you describe your sound as now?
My sound, I've got three different types of sound, really. I've got that Balearic sound.
Yeah.
And then when it goes to clubs, me personally, I love that sort of deep techie sound.
Yeah.
In between the house and the tech. Yeah. Not that other tech house music we was talking about.
Yeah.
But there are some good bits on those, and I can use the bits. But it's like that type of sound. It's a deep techie sound, I'd call it, with acid and stuff like that. That's for the clubs.
Yeah.
That's what I love. And then you got the normal, the 88 sound.
Yeah.
You know, they're the three things I get booked for mainly.
Yeah.
But my sound is Balearic, and I don't like looking back. I like going forward with music.
And this is why you've had that longevity.
Yeah. I've always been a forward thinker and not keep going back all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got loads of great music, loads of it, but I still like to go forward.
It's always the next thing.
You know, you can't keep going back. You've got to go forward. And I'm like that with buying my music. I'm always trying to use new music all the time.
That's really good. It keeps it fresh, keeps it exciting.
Yeah, for me, it's the only way. You've got to keep it fresh, and it's the only way you can hear your new music being played out.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
but you know, I'd like to create a trend. I'd like to get other people on it, and you know, what's this, what's that. You know, it can happen.
Yeah,
it will happen. It does.
You know, and we're here in Brighton today. We're doing the Balearic Burger event all day, and then later on this evening as well. You're playing. You know, this community that you're very much involved with, Balearic Burger. Tell us a little bit about that, because it's a Facebook group that's grown into this massive thing.
John, I know really well, that created the group, and he approached me, and I approached him. Obviously, we had a good chat about putting on events, and I'm coming close to not finishing. Don't want to stop DJing, but I'm coming close to not working as much. You know, it's come up my 50th year, and I've had a good innings, and I want to do something else now. We're thinking of leaving the UK, and my partner, she's a textile artist, a very good textile artist. I just want to concentrate on helping selling her works and getting it out there.
Oh, that's good to
and
have that
also
plan.
do my music, but do it in smaller clumps. Come to the UK. Hopefully, wherever I go, it'd be Spain or Portugal. I want to set up maybe, I don't know, weekend or a week, wherever we are, and do a Balearic, a house, and a techno festival. I can see it. That's my idea.
Yeah. Well, if you build it,
of course. I mean, I need to get out of the UK now.
Yeah.
Things are changed in the UK, and I love it in the UK. Don't get me wrong. It's just time for a change.
Yeah.
That's all I want to do. I'm still going to always be based here.
Yeah.
And then we talked about putting on these events, and I wanted to get really more involved with Balearic Burger. A, I like smaller places.
Yeah.
And B, I wanted to work with other good DJs.
Yeah.
And different DJs, not the ones that you see all the time advertised. And it's the same old. So I'm getting involved with lots of different DJs from all over the country, working with them, helping them, and just see where it goes.
That's really altruistic, and you've got to grow these. I'm just
putting it out there. It's like giving back.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to do, is just sort of give back. And, you know, I'm not superstar, but I help others. I want to help others. I give them music, whatever. I can help them. I'm there. So, just giving back.
It's really, really good. And, you know, talking about giving back as well.
Yeah.
You know, you worked with last night at DJ Save My Life, the charity, and you're out in Tanzania.
That's right.
You know, helping, you know, teaching young kids about music, kids who have got significant kind of life challenges.
Yeah,
tell us a bit
kids
about
from
that.
The streets, basically.
Yeah.
I've been working with Last Night DJ since it formed in 2010. since it started. I think it's 2010 or 2013. I can't remember exactly, but I've always done their gigs. I've done their auctions. I've done their DJ competitions that they have all around the country and stuff.
Yeah.
For the under 21s and that. I used to be judge for them. And always helping raising money for the charity, which is a great charity because it's a charity that helps the other established charities.
Yeah.
And also it does things like build wells,
Yeah.
raise 3,000, build a well in that village. So I had the opportunity to go out to Tanzania. I was supposed to go the following year, but I had a hip operation. Got a new hip here. That's why I'm bouncing around. Metal titanium hip. But I went out there. We got a lot of donations from big companies like Pioneer and stuff. And there were 6 of us that went out, and one was doing art, one was doing production, there was also doing DJing. We was just teaching all the kids. So, I mean, it was amazing, taking all this equipment there and unraveling all this equipment with these kids.
Yeah.
Seeing their eyes all light up. And we even made some tracks.
Yes.
Which we're going to be putting it out to various people to remix, put it out, and we will hopefully get a package together. And we've spoken to a few people that are going to not take any money on the track, and it's all going to go to the charity again.
That's fantastic.
Back to Angelgate.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's something about giving.
Yeah.
That it makes you feel really fulfilled.
Yeah.
It's something about giving, and and you do some in mysterious ways. You get things back in different ways.
This is it. And if you're in a position to do that,
instead of taking,
it's like you put good stuff out there. Good stuff happens to you. It's
exactly.
Yeah.
And it was a real eye opener. I mean, the poor kids in Africa. I mean, they are poor.
Yeah.
And to help these kids. And at the end of when I was there, they put on a show for us on everything they'd learned.
Yeah.
Amazing. So amazing. They were dancing.
Oh, incredible.
And they were so amazing. So that first team went out, and then the second team of Last Night DJ, the climbers, came out. They were climbing Kilimanjaro.
Yeah.
Now, Johnny, that runs the charity, he picked up some big pebbles from Brighton Beach.
Yeah.
Took them to Africa.
Yeah.
They were hand painted by the boys with all the DJs that had died in the last couple of years. Yeah, painted all their names, Alfredo and stuff.
Yeah.
Then the climbers took them up to the top of Kilimanjaro.
Yeah.
And planted them at the top. And they do that every year.
Wow, that's beautiful.
So I've got a photograph of that. I haven't put the story up yet because I didn't want to do it because Last Night DJ do it first. So when that story, then I can release my pictures of the boys and how it all started, that journey from Brighton via Africa.
Yeah.
No, from Ibiza.
Yes.
To London to Africa. That's what it is. Yeah. And I've got like Pepe and not Pepe, Alfredo.
Jose. Yeah.
Stuff. And they're sitting at the top of the mountain, these stones.
Oh, wow.
What a great story, eh?
Yeah.
So one day I will be there. I want to be there. Not yet, but one day.
Yeah. Well, you've got plenty more
I don't
years
have to work on it. I
yeah,
know that I've got a stone with my name on it.
You're almost semi-made out of titanium now already.
Yeah.
So, you've got some long old years.
Yeah, I love the fact that you do something with people and you everybody wants something in return these days.
Yeah.
But, I'm at a situation now where I can give back.
Yeah.
And I want to. It's a hard, tough life DJing anyway.
Yeah.
But I've got a few things in line. I'm going to do to help people, and I've got a few things. But
great.
You're going to have to wait for those stories.
Well, absolutely, and we're here for you when you want to talk. When you want to shout about them.
I've got a few people I've taken under my wing and helped and stuff.
That's great.
That.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
Cool, exciting times. Well, we're doing really well. We've done just an hour, so that's all good. What we always do towards the end of the interview is we have a House Culture Perfect playlist on Spotify, and every guest who's been on the show has chosen 5 tracks based on different themes for this playlist, and we put it in there, and it's, you know, it's massive. It's over 30, 40 hours long, so you just put it on shuffle. It's all great music. We usually ask the question, give you the themes beforehand, but I realised I haven't done that.
Yeah. Don't ask me to pick 5
So
now.
I was going to say,
I could pick 1.
I could read out some of the themes,
Yeah.
because this is always as well the way we like to frame it with people is don't think about it too hard. Just first thing that comes into your head, and don't question after the fact. Like, I should have maybe chosen that one. So we always think of a catalyst tune, a track that opens your ears to electronic or dance music.
Well, I can answer that one quite easily because he's my favourite artist. It's Marvin Gaye.
Yeah.
And his, you know, the What's Going On album, it's my favourite.
Yeah.
But it's his new track that he's sort of the Found in the Vault lost tracks.
Yeah.
Where Are We Going? That's my favourite track now, but it would be What's Going On.
Brilliant choice. That's the first theme, the catalyst one. This is the second theme. So a floor filler, if like any time you're thinking, like no matter where you're playing, bar, club, whatever.
It's got to be Josh Wink. Higher State of Consciousness always kills that floor. I'm an acid man. I love that acid.
You can't beat that. Okay, a sunsetter, a tune you might play at sunset.
Okay, sunset, actual sunset.
Yeah.
I was going to say sunset. Don't think about it, Trev. It's Pat Metheny. I can't remember the name of the track. Is it
This is not America. No,
that's
the one.
No, it's not that one. It's the one that they play at the Cafe Del Mar. But it's Pat Metheny. Pat Metheny.
I'll find it.
Yeah. I've got it on album at home. I'm sure it's something like "Where Are We Going" or something like that. Yeah. Okay, it's Pat Metheny.
Right. Oh, we'll talk after and find it.
Track. Yeah, I've got it at home. I've got the album at home.
Great. Okay, a tearjerker. And this can be any genre.
A tearjerker?
Yeah. A track that fills you with emotion anytime you hear it.
Do you know what? That always gets me. And it was going to go on the Balearic Beat album, but it never did. And hopefully it's going to go on a future Balearic Beat too.
Yes, yeah.
Is a William Pitt, City Nights.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I've always loved that track. Yep. Always. And it's that nice, sort of gentle, swaying. Yeah. But it's always got me, and it reminds me of Ibiza so much.
It's to me when I hear that as well. When I hear that tune, it feels very like 80s cosmopolitan, like European.
Reminds me of Ibiza all the time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I would say that City Lights.
That's a great choice.
I'm not thinking about it.
This is it. Yeah, this is good. Don't question it after either. No. Okay, you've done a great set. Crowd are asking for one more. You can play anything you want. What's your last tune?
Depends how I feel. Let's have a look. How would I play? Jesus Christ. Oh. This is hard, this one.
It all depends on the environment.
It all depends. Where are we?
Yeah.
It could be acid tracks.
Yeah.
It could be Master C&J. What's that called? The one...
something about...
Feel It?
Looking or seeing or something?
No, is it?
Yeah.
Feel It?
I've got no internet here, so I don't know.
I'll play it all the time.
I think it's Feel It.
I think it's Feel It, yeah. But I've got to say, it's probably acid tracks.
Acid tracks.
Yeah.
Future.
Yeah.
Great choice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, and
I love that track. I used to love it all the time. 9 minutes long. Let's go to the toilet time.
Every
have a cigarette, park your car, and come out. It's still playing.
Every DJ needs one of those tunes.
Oh yeah, it sounds so good because I remember playing it the other night. God, it sounds so good.
Yeah. I
used to play all this a lot, but I haven't played it for a while. So yeah.
Excellent choice. Okay, and this is the final question of the interview. So we are House Culture. This is the House Culture podcast. You know, what we stand for is all about shining the light on the stories and the personalities around the culture of the scene. So it's not only around the music, it's around the fashion, the art,
of course,
everything else. And when you think of house music or dance music or this community that's been built based around this music, how does it make you feel? What are the main kind of themes of this scene to you?
The main themes? Obviously the music, it's the people, the travel. They're very devoted. They will travel. They will go to Europe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they do.
Yeah.
You have these groups going to Ibiza early, late in the season. Dedication. Yeah, I mean, I'm not too much of a follower of just one particular brand.
Yeah.
I'm more of a follower of people the promotions that do the music. I'm not
Yeah.
completely, but yeah, I think it's just dedication. I mean, house music is played everywhere in the world, and it's a family, really, isn't it? It's one big family. Don't care where you go. It's just one big family, and that's what I love about it. We've spread the word. Where else can we go? Got to play on Mars next, yeah.
Well, don't move that far when you get out.
No, I won't be going too far, but
Yeah.
no, I think it's time to not hang up my headphones, but
Yeah.
I'll be not doing as much. But I'll be coming back to festivals and stuff like that.
Well, we'll keep our eyes open and ears
Yeah,
open.
definitely.
Yeah,
I'll definitely keep in touch with you. So.
Yeah, Trevor Fung, it's been an absolute pleasure. You nailed it. Thank
Thank
you. Awesome.
Brilliant.
That was so good. So good. Right, let me just stop.
Yeah, if there's anything you need, just let me know.